Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've got yet another special guest and what has been a fantastic day for Carlton fans here at the Spirit of Carlton lunch. We've reminisced all about the 79 premiership. It's wonderful to have the entire playing group here and all the coaching group as well as we blend the current crop with the old legends, and it's been sensational. It's appropriate that we have a chat now to our interim coach. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only David Teague. Well, Teague, we saw a reaction like that to Jezza. That must be very humbling for you in all seriousness.
Absolutely. And obviously I owe the playing group and the support staff I've had, because the way the guys are going about it is the reaction to this group right now. It's not really me, it's the players, and they've been outstanding.
In your wildest dreams, when you took on this huge task, surely you didn't believe that you could achieve as much as this playing group has achieved in a short amount of time.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, because if you talk about belief, I knew this group had more in them. I knew they had a lot more in them. The way they've gone about it has impressed me the most. The way they've started to train, the level we train at now is how good teams train. And I've been lucky enough to go to quite a few clubs throughout work and seen some really good teams train. Our group now train as well as any I've been involved with. So the way they go about it, probably the results probably haven't surprised me as much, because if they keep training that way and they keep bringing the effort they're bringing, these results will keep happening.
And that's been a mantra right from the start for you. You've been drilling that into them, how well they're training, that they can transfer that on to a match, but it's not as easy as that, is it?
Well, it's not, but it's the things you can control. You can control training. You can control your preparation. You can't control the opposition. So we don't spend a lot of time. We'll assess what they do well, and generally you know what most teams do well, but what we can control is us and the way we go about it. And regardless of what happens on the weekend, if we bring our best effort, if we control the things that we can control, and we play the way we want to play, and we play as one, we're bound, and we play for each other, then we know that we've got the talent to get the job done. And so I think that'll keep happening.
It is a fantastic list. We'll talk a little bit more footy, but on a personal note, was it a given decision for you to take on this role? Because we knew how big it was. You naturally chatted to your wife. You've got a young family. It needs everyone to be on board this journey, on board the T train.
It's a big train, apparently. I've learnt there's a lot of people in here on that. So, and that's without the crew my mum is trying to organise. It was an easy decision in the sense that the opportunity to coach this great club is one you just don't refuse. So when Brad Lloyd said that they were interested and keen for me to take over, my brain was yes straight away. Obviously, it doesn't just impact yourself; it does impact your family. And I knew my wife's answer, so it was an easy one. I knew she'd want what's best for me, and but I just wanted to respect her enough to give her the right to find out first. And her first reaction, though, was a little bit interesting. When I told her, she said, "Do you still get Wednesdays off? Because I look after my two girls Wednesdays." Then she followed it with, "Congratulations, that's awesome." So I've managed to have quite a few Wednesdays off with my two girls, which I love. So that's really nice.
That is sensational. Explain to us, to the layman in the room, how you've increased scoring. Something as simple as that, something that we've struggled in the past to score. How have we put it onto the scoreboard?
Kicked more goals.
Thank you for that. How have we done that?
Yeah, look, we make the ground a bit bigger. When I say we make the ground a bit bigger, our forwards hold a little bit more length. We create a bit more space. Our our coaching group believe we've got a lot of talent. So when we've got the ball in our hands, that we should be able to score more often than not. So to do that, if you can create space for your teammates to work into, it makes the job easier for the guy with the ball. So it's nearly more on what the guys that haven't got the ball are doing rather than what the guy with the ball and the decisions he's making. And the way the guys have approached it, I think there was a fair bit of energy. I think they were keen. I think they knew they could score more. And you can see that when they go out there and you've still got to win the contest. Everyone talks about how our scoring's gone up, but our ability to win the contest and our effort and compete around the ball, that's been our biggest strength. But off the back of that, we're learning it then how to. And we've still got a fair bit of growth there. We came up against a really good opposition on the weekend that did it better than us. But over time, I'll promise this room right now, we're going to even get better at it.
Who have been the biggest influences in your coaching?
Probably starts, and this is going to sound boring, but my dad, even as a young kid, he put me to a halfback flank when I was one of the better kids in the team, and I was like, what are you doing? Put me on the ball. All the good kids play on the ball. But he taught me the ability to read the play from halfback, which I loved, and so he's obviously had a massive impact. My mum thinks she could coach an AFL football team. Unfortunately, she's actually right too often, which I don't like. Dennis Pagan was big, do the basics well. The game hasn't changed, and even hearing some of the 79 premiership players talk about getting your job done, play your role. Dennis was big on that, and he had the simplest game style: kick it to duck. So it was pretty easy to follow your role. The two that I learned a lot off, and I've had a lot of good ones, so I'm probably not being fair on some, but John Worsfold, his skill set and his strengths are probably the opposite to mine. He's very good at setting up systems and structures to allow football department to run efficiently. And then on the flip side of that, and they're both at West Coast, but was Phil Walsh. He's tactician now, so his ability to understand people, to get the best out of people, and his game knowledge. Those two were polar opposites, but one thing I'll always remember from Woosh was talking to Woosh, he said, my strength is not the tactical side, so I went out and got the best. So his biggest strength was actually identifying where he needed help, and that's something that I know personally I've thought about a lot, and having the right people around you, and right now I've got a great staff which are really helping me and allowing me to focus on what I want to do, so which is really helpful.
Sensational. You've also got two great co-captains. One's injured. We won't see him this year, but he's great influence around the club. And then we've got Patrick Cripps, who's coming up to a milestone. Describe Paddy Cripps.
He's big. It was a really enjoyable experience as coach. I was sitting in there and Pat was talking to another player, and he was just talking about the lessons he'd learnt and where he'd come from. So one of the biggest strengths that I see in Paddy is his ability to adapt, to evolve, and his desire to be the best that he can be. From as simple as, and I hope Pat doesn't mind me saying this, changing from a latte to a long black because it has less milk in it. But that's the level you've got to go to. And I hope that's all right, Cripper, that I tell people you do that. But that's the level he went to, and that's the level you've got to be at. And to be an AFL footballer, it's a real balancing act because you still want to have fun. That's why we started playing the game. But then it is a professional, it's our job. And to be the best you can be now, the level, that's simple as that, is sometimes just taking the milk out of your coffee to become the best player you can be. So Pat's ability to adapt and his leadership is phenomenal.
There you go. There's a lesson for us all as we chug on the finest of Carlton United breweries and all the wine. Take the milk out of your coffee and you end up looking like Paddy Cripps. Sensational. What about the Blue Baggers this Sunday against Richmond? How do we break down this formidable team?
You talking about Carlton?
Of course, we're formidable.
Okay. Yeah, they're a very good team. One of their strengths is they are quite predictable, and that's what good teams do. You know how they're going to play. There's not going to be too many tricks, so that's good for us. So we know what we're going to face this week. We're going to face a team that are really good in the contest. They move the ball forward every opportunity they can get, and they've got a dangerous forward line with two talls and a lot of smalls putting pressure on. So To beat them, you've got to match them in the contest, if not beat them. You've got to get the ball in your half. If you try and overpossess it, their pressure is really good. I think they're number one for tackling, particularly over the recent period. So we've got to get the ball in our half. Once we get the ball in our half, I'll trust our defence to keep it there. And if they're going to beat us, they're going to have to kick it to contest, to contest, to contest. If they can win 3 contests in a row and score, I'll wear that because I'm going to back our boys in that they won't win all 3 in a row.
Fantastic. And just finally, getting together, getting the whole playing group here, the Spirit of Carlton, what Spirit of Carlton's doing, and we read out the credentials of the 79 premiership team. It just gives you shivers down your spines how good the players were. It's important, you think, for the modern players to be around their former greats?
I think you've always got to honour your past and respect, and they've laid the foundation for this great football club, and we are very lucky as players and as coaches to get to be involved in such a great football club. It was funny, I was listening to some stories, and Jezza, I think I copied your game style for the grand final in my first 4. I went to 29 points down, but we only won a couple of them, so I've scrapped it. Sorry, mate, but I'm pretty keen to start well from now on. But I think it's great to hear these stories. What I love, and you can see it when they're sitting here, is the bond. And it's very easy once you win a premiership, you look back at it and you see it because you get opportunities like this. But for our playing group, if they can look at some of their teammates now in 40 years, the way these guys looked at their teammates, I think our boys, and we've got the ability to do that because we're going places and I'd want to be part of it. So if I was one of our players right now, I'd be learning and training hard.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, a big game on the weekend. I will not even ask you what you are going to be doing in 2020, Teague. I think the whole room has just told us. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only David Teague. All right.